When did you stop showing up for yourself? Not in a dramatic way, not in a sudden collapse, but in the quiet and visible ways. The days you hit snooze and told yourself you'd try again tomorrow. The nights you scrolled mindlessly, ignoring the voice in your head whispering that you were made for more. That's how it begins, not with a crash, but with silence. You didn't quit your life. You just started postponing it. And somehow that became normal. Most people think their life will fall apart because of some big failure, some dramatic moment of loss. But that's not how it works. Life doesn't crumble all at once. It fades bit by bit. The ambition fades. The fire dims. The goals get dusty. And one day you wake up and wonder how you became so tired, so disconnected from your own potential. You try to remember when you last felt fully alive, but your mind goes blank. That's the danger. Not being broken, but becoming numb. We don't talk enough about the slow destruction, the kind that hides behind smiles, ands, and routines. You wake up, go to work, talk to people, maybe even laugh, but deep down, you know something is missing, something powerful, something honest. And here's the truth that's hardest to face. No one notices when you start slipping, not even you, because it's hidden, disguised as normal. And by the time you realize it, the gap between who you are and who you could be feels too wide to cross. But it's not. That's what this video is here for, to wake you up before it's too late, to show you the silent force that's been stealing your future without making a sound. And if you stay with me until the end, I promise, you'll see exactly what's been holding you back, and more importantly, how to take your power back starting today. Because what's been destroying you isn't something loud. It's something quiet, ordinary, familiar, and that's what makes it so dangerous. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need someone to scream at you to hustle harder. What you need is to understand how the mind works, how it protects you, how it tricks you, and how it quietly convinces you to settle. Once you see it clearly, you can break the cycle. You can interrupt the pattern, and you can get back to the life you were supposed to live before you started hiding from it. It's not over. You haven't missed your chance. But the clock is ticking, not in some scary, dramatic way, but in the quietest way possible. Every day you stay the same, you lose a piece of the person you were meant to become. That's the cost of comfort. That's the price of avoiding the truth. So stay with me. Keep listening, because we're about to shine a light on the one habit that's quietly destroying your life. And once you see it, you can finally change everything. It's time to name it. The habit that's been quietly destroying your life isn't laziness. It isn't lack of talent. It's avoidance. That simple, subtle behavior that feels harmless in the moment, but dangerous in the long run. You avoid the uncomfortable, the hard conversation, the difficult choice, the early morning, the risky move. And each time you avoid it, you tell yourself it's no big deal. You convince yourself you'll do it later. But later rarely comes, because avoidance is addictive. And it rewires your mind to crave safety, not growth. Avoidance doesn't feel like destruction. That's what makes it so deadly. It feels like relief, like peace, like just one more hour. But behind every delay is a door that's slowly closing. Behind every skipped moment of courage is a life you could have lived. And while you think you're buying time, what you're really doing is building a cage. One tiny excuse at a time. Your brain is wired for survival, not greatness. It will always choose the path of least resistance. It doesn't care about your dreams. It cares about comfort. That's why doing the hard thing feels so unnatural. That's why stepping into discomfort feels wrong, even when it's exactly what you need. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're human. But if you let your biology run your destiny, you'll spend your life repeating the same easy patterns and calling it fate. Let's break it down. Every time you avoid taking action, your brain rewards you. A small hit of dopamine, a little sigh of relief. You avoided risk. You avoided pain. But what else did you avoid? Growth, confidence, momentum. Every time you don't speak up, don't try, don't push, you reinforce a belief that you can't handle discomfort. And that belief becomes your reality. You start making choices not from vision, but from fear. And fear is a master of disguise. It will wear the mask of, I'm too tired. That's not the right time. I'm just not ready. But deep down, you know when you're running from your own potential, you feel it in your chest. That tightness, that ache, that quiet voice saying you could do more. But you silence it, you bury it beneath distractions, and so the days pass, not in chaos, but in quiet defeat. Avoidance is not a moment, it's a pattern, a life built on little escapes. You avoid the gym, the call, the application, the truth, and slowly you become a spectator in your own life, watching, waiting, hoping, but never really stepping forward. That's the real danger, not that you fail, but that you never try with everything you have. You deserve more than that. You were made for more than comfort. You were designed to grow, to stretch, to rise. But nothing will change until you confront the habit of running away. Because no amount of talent, passion, or potential will save you if you keep choosing easy over right. Now, you know the name of the enemy. It's not out there, it's not a person, it's not a system, it's a decision. A daily one. and it's stealing everything you ever dreamed of. Avoidance doesn't just steal your time, it steals your identity. At first, it's just a missed workout, a skipped task, a delay in a dream. But soon, it becomes who you are. You stop seeing yourself as capable, you stop trusting your word. And the worst part is no one sees it happening, not even you. Because it's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's slow, quiet, silent, and over time, it changes the way you think about yourself. You begin to lower your standards, not because you don't care, but because you're tired of the pain that comes with disappointment. So you protect yourself by aiming smaller, dreaming less, speaking softer. You tell yourself it's maturity, that you're being realistic. But deep down, you know what it is. It's fear. Fear of trying and failing. Fear of being seen and judged. Fear of not being enough. So you avoid. And that avoidance becomes your comfort zone. But there's a cost, and it's heavy. The longer you avoid the hard parts of life, the more regret you carry. You start to feel behind, like everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in place. And the more stuck you feel, the harder it becomes to move. Your self-worth drops, your motivation fades. And you begin to wonder if maybe this is all there is. Maybe you missed your chance. Maybe you're just not meant for more. But that's a lie, a powerful one. And it's built by years of avoiding yourself, not others, yourself. Because every time you back down, your brain records it. Every time you say later, every time you choose comfort over courage, your brain learns a message you don't follow through. You don't keep promises to yourself. And that message becomes your identity. That's why you feel tired even when you're doing nothing. That's why you feel overwhelmed by simple things. It's not because life is too hard. It's because you're carrying the weight of everything you've avoided. And that weight doesn't go away on its own. It builds until you start shrinking under it. You see, avoidance doesn't just delay success. It destroys belief. It convinces you that your goals are too big, that your voice doesn't matter. That trying is pointless. It convinces you to give up before you begin, and you stop challenging yourself. You stop showing up. You start existing instead of living. That's the real danger, not failure, but surrender. Not falling, but fading away without even realizing it. But it doesn't have to end that way. The damage isn't permanent. The regret isn't final. You are not broken. You're just buried beneath layers of fear, hesitation, and self-doubt. And all of it began with one habit: avoidance. But if you have the power to build that pattern, then you also have the power to break it. And that starts with understanding what it's truly costing you. Not in task, but in identity, in pride, in the future you once believed in. There comes a moment in every life where you have to choose keep avoiding or start becoming. That moment isn't loud. It won't come with fireworks or a perfect plan. It shows up in the small decisions. The moment you feel tired but still stand up. The moment you're scared but still speak. The moment you feel doubt but still move. That's where the shift begins. Not in massive change, but in micro bravery. Tiny acts of courage that slowly rebuild the muscle of self-respect. You don't need to conquer the world overnight. You just need to stop running from the parts of life that make you grow. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. And the more you face it, the stronger you become. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you send your brain a new message: I can do hard things. That's how confidence is built. Not from reading books or setting goals, but from action. From doing the thing you don't want to do, even when it scares you. There is no magic switch. No one is going to flip it for you. You can keep waiting for motivation. Or you can become the kind of person who moves without it, because motivation is a feeling and feelings are unreliable. But discipline is a decision. And that decision changes everything. The moment you stop negotiating with your excuses, your power returns. You stop needing permission. You stop waiting for perfect. You start moving no matter what. You already know what you need to do. The problem isn't clarity, it's action. You've read the advice. You've watched the videos. You've imagined the future. But none of it matters unless you act, even if it's messy, even if it's small. The only way to break the pattern is to interrupt it. Right now, not tomorrow, not next week now. Because if you don't, the habit of avoidance will win again. And it's one enough. It's time to become someone you trust, someone you respect, someone who doesn't need to be saved because they've learned how to save themselves. That starts with one decision: to stop avoiding and start doing. To stop protecting yourself from discomfort and start leaning into it. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. No one is coming. Not to push you, not to wake you up, not to fix your life. That's your job. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner everything can change. This is your moment, your invitation to rise. And it doesn't matter how many times you've failed before. What matters is what you choose right now. Break the habit. Take the step. Show up, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it's uncomfortable, because every time you do, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And that's how you rebuild a life worth living from the inside out, one choice at a time. This is your wake-up call. Not because you failed, but because you're still here, breathing, capable, ready. You haven't lost your chance. You've just forgotten your power. And now, it's time to remember who you were before the world convinced you to shrink, before you started doubting your voice, before comfort became your prison. You are not here to survive your life. You are here to live it, fully, boldly, loudly. That begins the moment you stop letting fear lead the way. You are not broken, you're buried under the expectations of others, under the weight of your own silence, under the years you spent avoiding pain. But your strength was never destroyed, it was just covered. It's still there, and it's waiting for one decision, one act, one moment of truth that says, no more hiding, no more settling, no more pretending that average is enough. You don't need a complete plan, you need a reason. And your reason is simple: you were made for more. Not more money, more likes, more applause, but more purpose, more truth, more fire. You were born with something the world needs. But they'll never see it until you start living like it's real. Until you stop choosing safety and start choosing self-respect. Until you stop waiting for proof and start becoming the evidence. Everything you want is on the other side of effort. Not talent, not luck, effort. The hard days, the silent wins, the unseen progress. That's what shapes you. That's what builds a life. You already know what staying the same feels like: empty, restless, heavy. So what do you have to lose by choosing change? Choosing action, choosing to face what you've been running from. Start small. One promise to yourself, one new habit, one honest conversation. That's how it begins. That's how the loop breaks. And every step you take becomes proof you are not powerless. You never were. You just forgot what it felt like to believe in yourself. And the truth is, you don't need the whole world to believe in you. You just need to stop doubting your own voice long enough to hear it again. Let today be the day you draw a line between who you've been and who you're becoming. Between the life you've tolerated and the one you were meant to create. The pain you feel from growth is nothing compared to the pain you carry from avoidance. So choose the kind of pain that builds you. Choose discomfort with purpose. Choose action with intention. You get one life, one shot. And while others may waste theirs waiting, you don't have to. You can start today. You can become the person you were always meant to be. Not someday, not later, now. The habit that's been destroying you. It ends here. The version of you that avoids, delays, and doubts. You've outgrown it. Stand up, speak up, step in, reclaim your time, reclaim your identity, reclaim your life. One decision, one action, one day at a time.